Today I'm taking on the TupleToObject type challenge. So given a tuple, we need to create a new type called TupleToObject that will take a tuple and return a new type where the shape of that is like an object where each key and each value are one element from our tuple. Okay, let's take the challenge. Okay, so in order to solve the challenge, I think we first need to understand how our TupleToObject will be used. Here we're saying we're passing it the type of tuple, but I think we should be able to see what this type of tuple is. So I'm going to create an intermediary type called TupleType, and I'm going to set this equal to type of tuple. This is just so that I can see and show you what the type of this thing is. So the type of TupleType is a read-only array. So in order to construct our object type, we might want to loop over everything in that read-only array and create a new object where each key and each value is one element of that array. So we can use a mapped type to do that. So you might think that we'd be able to change our type definition here to be like a simple mapped type where we say for each property in T, we'll set the value of that to be property. And that would create something with like Tesla and Tesla. But if we try and do this, it doesn't work. And if we hover on the error, it's not super clear what's going on. But essentially that you can only map over a union type, and here T is a read-only type. So the question is, how do we turn our read-only type into a union type? So we could try and construct that union type ourselves, because we know the union type for this read-only array is going to be Tesla or Model 3, Model X, or Model Y. So the first thing in that union type would be the type of the first thing in our read-only array. So that would be tuple type 0. And here we can see that should be Tesla, yeah. So if we did the same thing for the second, third, and fourth things in the array, we should be able to construct a union type. So type union equals first or second or third or fourth. And this union type now has the expected union type Tesla, Model 3, Model X, Model Y. So now in our TupleToObject type, instead of mapping over everything in T, if we mapped over everything in union, we'd now see that our test case actually passes. But this is obviously trash and not how you're supposed to do it, because this only works for tuples of arity 4. So if we introduced a fifth thing into this tuple, our type's going to break. So this is obviously not what we're meant to do, but it's quite similar. There's actually a different syntax we can use for this union type, and we can say that the type union is tuple type number, and this creates the exact same union type, but without us having to know that there were 4 things in it. So we can now remove all of these intermediary types, and instead we can just loop over T number. Okay, so that will work now for all tuples, but there's still one error in our playground, and that's down here because the TupleToObject type that we are using is now being passed an array and an object. Arrays and objects aren't valid keys in a TypeScript type. So we need to constrain T slightly more so that we only accept valid keys. So we might think that we could say T extends read-only string array. And this would work, but it's not the best solution because it's not just strings that are valid keys in TypeScript. You could say this could be a string or a number or a symbol, as they're all valid keys in a TypeScript type. And yeah, that's it. That's TupleToObject.